So one thing that I was able to do during the Hall of Fame release times that made me a lot of coins already, you can see I'm at about a $500,000. I am sitting on quite a few cards as well that I've invested in that are worth 100,000, 200,000, 150K, stuff like that. So I bought up a lot of those really cheap elites that were going for like 4K. If we go into the auction house right now and we do a quick sort in here, we are going to look for 80 and 81 overall elites, and then I was sorting by team previously, so a lot of the Rams players were going for very cheap. We can see this guy's going for a little under 7K right now. It's not a bad price, but he's only an 80 overall, so his it doesn't show you on here what his training value is, but most of these cards are going for like 8K now. And I saw a lot of these going for 4 to 5K. I would gladly reinvest in these if they drop back down to 4 or 5K. If there's a good bundle that comes out that allows us to pick team packs, you're going to want to be looking at teams that have really high players, like the Vikings for Xavier Rhodes, the Jaguars for the other really good cornerback whose name I can't think of right now, Jalen Ramsey. You know, the cards like that, J.J. Watt, some of these high-end wide receivers, and a couple other cards that I'll be talking to you guys about later about possibly investing in. So keep an eye on these really low-tier core elites. They're going to get flooded in the market when a lot of packs are opened, so they'll be overposted and their prices are going to drop, but people are going to want to buy these for training value, and their prices will eventually go back up. So right now, before the game releases, I sold all of my low elite cards because I do anticipate those going down. So if you're watching this on Thursday night, it is, before the game actually comes out, that's something I would recommend doing. I sold my Legends cards. I had some people asking about like the flashbacks and the heavyweights. If you have one of the lower guys in there, I would move those right now. Otherwise, if you have one of the higher guys in there, I would probably just hold on to those for a little while. So the trend we're going to see over the first couple weeks of MUT 19 is the same trend that we see over all of the Maddens, and that is everyone comes in, no one has any coins, so everything's really cheap. As people start playing solos and head-to-head and more coins start coming into the community, the price of everything's just going to start going up. Now this year we have training. A lot of people I've noticed have been quick selling their base silvers, their base golds for training points. I think that that is not an appropriate thing to do unless those guys are on that list I showed you earlier and they are the cheapest way to get training. Sometimes we could find that with like the 73 overalls that are only selling for like 1,000 gold or 100 coins, but most of the time we have better options for those. So I was going to go into the sets and show you guys some of these exchange sets. I recommend doing some of these for your nat cards that you get through like the campaign and stuff like that. If you trade in low silver cards, it's only 2 low silver cards and you get a high silver card. But in these high silver cards are the power-up players. Now a couple of these power-up players I wanted to talk to you guys about. The power-up Antonio Brown is very popular because everyone got an Antonio Brown with Hall of Fame edition. Some cards like Anthony Barr and Tyreek Hill are getting really expensive because a lot of people are wanting to power up their core elite cards. Cards that are really popular with people to run solos like the 91 speed Tyreek Hill, those are going to continue to go up. So I might invest in some of those cards. But there is going to be a point where everyone that wants one's going to get one, and they're going to really go down in value after that. So if you do invest in those, I would make those a shorter investment. Similarly, you can exchange a lot of your other NAT cards for other non-NAT cards. And if you're going team no money spent, I would highly recommend doing this, selling your cards on the auction house, getting as many coins as you can for all of your players that you're not utilizing on your squad. Alright guys, so here we are back at MutHead. We are looking at a filter of Madden 19 cards that are just core elites. I'm going to go ahead and sort these by price, so we're looking at the most expensive cards in the game. Now, basically the cards that you can see on the screen right now, last year what we saw was all of these cards skyrocketed in price. That was due to the power-up sets, and how when you put the card in the power-up set, it just went away. So they were really scarce in the community, and it drove their prices up exponentially high. Now this year we can pull these players back out of those power-up sets or the training sets that they are now, and we can get these cards back. So if the price gets too absolutely insane, I could maybe potentially see some people doing that. But honestly, I don't anticipate that from the high-end people, the high-end players that are spending a lot of money or playing a lot of games or being really competitive and want that extra edge of having the fully trained up version of these cards to play with in the most competitive scenes. So here's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. If we continue to scroll down through here, we can see these prices already drop off pretty quick. And if we start looking at the second tab, we get really cheap really quick. We're already under 100K. If we start looking at specific things like halfbacks, the most expensive halfback other than the Steelers halfback, can't think about players' names today, is David Johnson at 91K. All I can think of is Antonio Brown. Why can't I think of this guy's name? We'll go find Le'Veon Bell. There we go. Le'Veon Bell is 200K. But there's a lot of halfbacks below him that aren't quite as expensive. The way I'm going to describe this to you guys is this. If you want to do some short-term investments, I'm talking like getting them this weekend. If we get that market crash that I'm talking about might happen, if we get some good packs, especially if there's a topper that guarantees like an 86 plus core elite or something like that, and we see the prices on these go way down, these are cards I'm going to look at investing in. If we want short-term investments, we're looking for players that already have another version out that's higher than their core elite. So when I say that, what I'm talking about is if we go back and sort the players again, maybe we want to look at the Team Diamond set. If we look in here, we can see Le'Veon Bell. He's already got a card in here. Now, if I want to run a Steelers team and I want the best version of Le'Veon Bell that's available in the game, I am going to have to complete his Team Diamond sets, which requires a copy of his base elite card. I'm going to have to get his power up card. I'm going to have to power it up and put his base elite card into it to power it up past this 88 level, and then put his Team Diamonds card into it, and it probably powers up to like a 93. So that requires two different Le'Veon Bells. Any of the players that are going to be really popular in Team Diamonds and people are going to want to power up, so we're talking, Ramsey, Rhodes, possibly Le'Veon Bell, Clowney's going to be one of them. Some of these top tier wide receivers, tight ends. I think that the safety is really fast. He's got 90 speed. He might end up being a very popular card too. These cards are going to jump. These core elite cards for these players are going to jump in value incredibly quickly. So that's why I already went out and bought myself my Xavier Rhodes for my squad. I was completely content spending $220 on him, being fine with that. Luckily pulled the Pat Pete out of the Team Diamond set, so my cornerbacks should be set for a while. If there's a tank in cards, I'm definitely going to be looking at maybe trying to get in to a couple of these cards to invest in short term. Long term, we need to look for cards that don't have those. And so another thing on here is, we want to take a look at veterans. We want to take a look at heavyweights. These guys, Vernon Davis, I don't even know if these guys have base elites. None of these guys are going to be really too popular. Flashbacks, I know there's a safety flashback. Is it Malcolm Jenkins? Oh, it's just LaMarcus Joyner, I believe, or even Landon Collins. But some of these cards, I could see that their base elites going up in value pretty quick because people want to power up the highest version of them. So if any of these end up being really popular cards, their base elites are going to jump really quickly as well. I think that's all the sets that are out. So what we want to look for longer term investments are cards that are not in any of those sets. So like Khalil Mack. I was thinking about cards like Khalil Mack, some of the Eric Berry. So Eric Berry's going for 146k right now. But if Eric Berry gets a most feared card, that's a 91 overall, which we've seen that before. I could see this core elite card, easily doubling in value by that point in time. Especially right when that new set comes out, or if one of these guys hits a team of the week or something like that, we're going to see their base elite card jump up a lot because people are going to be trying to snag it up to put it into the power up cards. So while we're talking about this, the base power up cards I'm going to recommend to invest in very similarly. For some of these high end players that don't already have something to upgrade into beyond their base version, if they have a power up player card that's very cheap, we could potentially look at investing in some of those. Again, I hate doing it. Maybe I'll use Sue because I have a Sue. So let's say he's an 88 overall D tackle. He is the highest rated D tackle in the game. And let's say during Most Feared they come out with a Most Feared version of Sue. Because, as a quarterback, no one likes getting their head stomped on after they get sacked. So we would all be pretty afraid of him. So they come out with a 90 overall version of Sue. Now, not only is his core elite card going to jump in value incredibly, but people are going to want to power this card up all the way. So we're going to have to start looking at these power up cards as well. Now, it looks like Sue does have a Team Diamond card already, so not the best example. We can see because he has a Team Diamond card already, his power-up card's already at 6k. So let's go take a look at someone who I know doesn't have another version of their card. So like this Eric Berry, who I really want to get a couple Eric Berries this weekend. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I want one on the squad, and I want to invest in one. This guy's worth 5k, so it's not horrible, but we can see it's trending down a bunch. I could see this card dropping a bunch this weekend while people are opening up cards a ton. Again, if we get an awesome topper, we could see these elite cards dropping as well. It'd be a great time to invest in a couple of these things, waiting for whatever player you choose to invest in, which again, there's really great players on page 2 and 3 of this. If we start looking at some of these like Darius Slay Jr., Yanda, Richard Sherman, we look at Kelsey, David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, Deion Jones, Mateu. A lot of these guys have been popular in previous versions of Madden. We see Todd Gurley's going for 85k. If he got a Team of the Week card, that was an 89 overall or an 88 overall even, we could see this and his power-up card jumping in value because people want to power that card up. So go through here, find some cards. Bosa, this card's already doubled in price since the Hall of Fame edition came out because of what we're talking about right now. Any of these guys that you see that you think might get an upgrade and people would want to further upgrade that card would be great cards to invest in. Alright guys, the last thing I want to talk to you about tonight real quick is training. So I've seen a lot of what I personally would classify as poor training behaviors already, watching a lot of Madden streamers play MUT19. So we all want to power up our cards. We all want to get in here. I really want to get my Steve Hutch up to like an 84 overall. But when we start looking at how much it costs to do these things, these get really expensive really quick. And the first couple ones are really cheap. It's really easy. I really like the concept. It's really easy when you start out to go play a couple of those Hall of Fame games. Get some of these really cool cards that you're interested in. You can get them powered up to an 80 overall or some level that's decent enough to play on your team and kind of get you through the beginning stages of MUT. And then as we go into later stages, you can continue to develop them and get them up almost nearly to where their elite cards are at. So the first thing I want to talk about is what cards you should power up and what cards I don't think you should power up. There's this thing where you can de-power up cards this year and you can get half of the training back, but I think that's going to be a huge waste, and I think you want to try to avoid that at all costs possible. So if we look at the cards that I've powered up so far, I have a Randy Moss up to 85, I have my team captain up to an 85. I haven't powered up any of these really expensive, good core elites that I have yet. And then I've powered up a couple cards to this like 80 level. So let me explain why I did what I did and what my thinking was behind this. So early on, like I said, this stuff was really cheap, and I just wanted to get some players on my team to play. The Legends cards, you can actually upgrade these quite a ways before you have to add an item to it. So you can see I can get this card all the way up to an 88 just by training it. Yeah, it's quite a bit of training, but there's training solos, and there's going to be ways that it's not too hard to get this training for me. To kind of gauge this for you, if it takes 1,500 points to train my Sean Taylor up to an 88 overall, which I believe is about what it takes on a lot of these legend cards. You can roughly think of that as, depending on the exchange rate that you're getting for your cards, but then again, you could hold your cards and sell them later. Anyway, you got to think of that as being around, what is it, like 150,000 coins? Because we're really taking it times, it's a little bit under 100. We're probably taking it times like 75 or 80. So it might be 125k, maybe it's 100k. Let's say it's 125k. It costs you 125k to get that card to an 88 overall. Now, his 91 overall, I don't know what he goes for. I know like the 91 overall Moss goes for like 500k. So if I can just have an 88 overall for 125k, and I'm going to use him on my team for the rest of the year, I think that's a pretty valuable investment for like Team No Money Spent and some of the budget guys out there. If you're spending a lot of money on the game, you're probably going to go after the card that you want. You're probably going to want to power him up this extra little bit. And then, that's fine that you're doing things that way. But I'm not going to be powering up a lot of these, these mid-tier guys that you can't get very high. So that's why I stopped some of these other ones a little lower. I was powering up a Linval Joseph, but again, we see in order to upgrade him, we can only get him to an 82 overall before we need his item. And then there's another item for him. So that's, where I'm saying some of these cards might be popular. You get 89 overall Linval Joseph with 92 strength. Like, this card actually looks pretty legit. So how to choose what to sell. If you're a big money spent team and you're going through a lot of cards, I guess at that point, I'm going to go in, I'm going to sort by program. I'm going to sort by probably core bronze, core silvers, maybe even core golds. Maybe I'll sort core golds, but then I'll go 70 to 74 overall. And I'll maybe look at quick selling a lot of this stuff that I'm not putting in the sets for Team Diamonds. If you're a team no money spent, do not quick sell this stuff. You need to sell these things for coins. There's a lot of coins here that you could make, and I just don't think turning all of those coins into training points is going to be what's going to make you happy 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now. It's having that all locked up into training points. I think that you'd rather have the coins so that you could maybe just go out and like buy the Team Diamond version of Xavier Rhodes instead of powering something up all the way, needing his core elite, which is probably going to skyrocket in value and be impossible to get. You can just get an upgraded version. You can just get the card from a promo when it comes out. Maybe not run that +1 on him, because after all, your team no money spent. You're probably not running the tip top of everything. So be really cautious about quick selling these cards for training points. There's a lot of other ways to get training points. There's a lot of solos that you can play. If we go in and we look at solo challenges, there's a training camp section in here. There's weekly solos. I believe you get 50 training out of here. You can get 100 training out of here once you get to level 50. So it's 150 training a week. There's another 80 training you get here. You get a bunch of training from doing the campaign when you do that. I'm sure As you level up, we've been getting some training stuff too. So there's all sorts of ways that you can get training. Now, I'm going to take it to the next step. Do not want to leave MUT. Still not used to these menus. And I'm going to talk about these 80 and 81 overall NAT cards. So if you played before, you get some cards that are 83 overall. We also get to pick some of these 80 overall team dudes. These things can only be quick sold, huh? Not eligible for any sets. Okay, but we do get some NAT cards in here. You know, we got some 81 Ryan Schrader. We can quick sell this guy for 48, or we could add him to a set. We could put 3 of these guys into the 80 to 81 to get an 82, 83 back. So this guy's got 48 training, and if we look at an 83 overall, this guy's got 200 training. So again, you know, an 81 NAT, this is, you know, the best that we can put into the set is worth 48, and if we do end up with an 83 out of it, we're actually going to come out ahead 50 training by doing that set and then quick selling this guy, which if your team no money spent, you're going to sell this card for coins. You're not going to quick sell it. If you do end up with an 82, I don't know what the 82s sell for. I only have a NAT one, so I could go look that up for you quick. But if I had to guess, I would say it's probably somewhere in the 150 range. So when you put these cards into sets, and if you have 80 overalls that are NAT that aren't from this program, you know, go do some math, because there's sometimes you're going to be able to put these into the sets to upgrade them, and if you want to see where those sets are at, I'll show you real quick. And you can either come out ahead in training because you're going to come out on the other side of it with a non-NAT card, or you can turn NAT cards into non-NAT cards and then hit the auction house with them. So here we see this low silver to high silver. This is an awesome set to do with your nets. You can come out of this with the power-up cards. A lot of those power-up cards are going for like 6K. I showed you guys a couple of them that were going for like 30, 40K. So you can turn 2 NAT 63 overall silver cards, like the offensive lineman that you get early in the campaign, potentially into a 20K card by completing this set. So don't quick sell all your NAT cards for training. I sold all my bronze cards and a lot of my silver cards for training during the EA access time, and I regret doing that. I don't want you guys to do that as well. Come in here, look at these sets. You can turn a lot of your NAT cards into non-NAT cards. If your team no money spent, you can turn those non-NAT cards into coins. You can do what you want with them for your team. If you are team a bunch of money spent, you know, I get it, man. It's a grind. You're going to be putting those things into team diamonds. You probably want some training, and it's the lazy man's way of getting that done. So until they come out with a way that you can mark cards and auction them like in bulks of 20 at a time, I want to mark these 20 cards. I want to put them all in the auction house for an hour for 1,000 coin buyouts. I understand that. You might want to quick sell some of those if you're buying lots and lots and lots and lots of packs. But again, a lot of these elites are better value. If we just go take a look at the set to do high golds to an 80, 81 overall. So again, the golds, we're looking at 75 overall and plus, but we could potentially put 5 75 overall cards into that set. So we're going to go do some math again real quick. I know it's probably not your guys' favorite. We're trying to play football, right? Just want to count by sevens. If we go look at, I have a non-NAT 80. Okay, so this guy quick sells for 65 training. It's an 80 overall elite card. If we go look at 75 overall card, these guys sell for 8. Yep. So 8 times 5 is 40, and I already forgot what this guy sold for. Where'd he go? 65. So again, you know, you probably want to quick sell your 75 overall cards for training, but again, if we just go look at the sets, it's actually more valuable to put your 75 overalls into the set and get 80 or 81s out of them, because let's say you come out of it with an 81 like this Pouncy. Do I have to like unpower him to sell him? Yeah. These guys are going to be worth even more than this guy, and he's worth 65. So make sure you look at the sets and you do some math on what the quick sells are. I've seen a lot of people just going and quick selling gold cards. I think that the gold cards that you're going to want to sell are going to be the 73s, honestly. We're going to hit this sweet spot on the 73s where we get 10 training for them, but they still only sell for like 1,000 coins, maybe 800. Some of these higher overall ones, the 74s and the 75s, while they do give you 15 training and it would be really bad to put them into the set, if we go look these cards up on the auction house, I can hit the right buttons here for you guys. We see that these cards are going for like 3K. So when we start looking at the cost of a card to how much training it is, you know, it's 3K and it's 15, so I think that's like 200. And that's, you know, we're looking for something more around 50 or 75. So these guys we don't want to sell, we'd rather get the coins for them. The guys on the bottom we can put into sets to get more quick sell for, but after we do the sets we might want to sell the guys because the coin ratio again might not be right. But it's kind of like these 73s. I'm assuming if we look at the higher overalls, we're going to see a similar, or the lower overall tiers down through here, we're going to see similar trends. So go ahead and take a look at that as well. Yeah, man, I've messed up on a lot of training already. Like, when you look at it, it's there's a lot of no-brainer things in here. Like, oh, shit, why did I quick sell all these 75 overall cards? I could have put them into the set, got more training out of it. You know, maybe I would have pulled, maybe you pull one of those coin sell cards, man. You know, quick sell it for 60K. It's like, oh. So I think coins are going to be super easy to get this year. I think the market's going to really inflate a lot. I think a lot of those base elites are going to really go up in price. Alright guys, once again, thanks for stopping by. Quick review. Be careful with your training. Don't quick sell things you shouldn't be quick selling. Put them into sets that you need to put them into. Watch for a market crash this weekend. Coins are going to be pretty easy to come by this year with solos, with all of the cards that quick sell for a lot of coins, with all the different quick sells that are built into the game. So I'm anticipating steady market growth through the first couple months of MUT, like we've seen every other season. We're looking at investing in some of these core elites, quick investments on cards that already have better iterations out that people are trying to power up through the tiers. And then more long-term investments and future investments are going to be for cards that don't have improvements. We're trying to get ahead of Team of the Week. We're trying to get ahead of promos like Most Feared, you know, breast cancer awareness, stuff like that. So look at MUT Pass, see what players have been in some of those promos, use your gut instincts, think of what players you think might get Team of the Week players, stuff like that. Go ahead, snag some of their core elites, some of their power-up players as well. So a lot more to talk about with MUT this season. Let me know either in the chat here on Twitch or in the YouTube comment sections down below what else you guys would like to hear me talk about this season. I'm going to try to do streams every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'll try to get these videos out for you guys on YouTube by Friday afternoon then. And as always, man, big hearts. It's been real. Thanks. We'll catch you next time. Yeah, CK, I think that's a good idea too. Kind of holding on. I need to figure out